Mm. Oh no. It's easy for me to wake up to get the truth, the reality about the human condition, but unfortunately, this is another wake up call for you. Oh my god, don't share this with Jordan B. Peterson or people that write books about how sapient we are. Oh my god, please don't share that with them. Oh my god, especially that it mentions a psychologist. Let me open that up for that. So, hey, have you guys heard of Abraham Maslow? Please don't share this with Jordan B. Peterson. He's going to totally reinvent reality to interpret this, to put a positive spin on the human condition. Okay, well, you know what? One of us is right or wrong. Is it the one with the followers or the one without the followers? Well, it's not about who it is or the followers. It's about evidence, people. Watch, let's say, the news, international news, and see if it reflects, the reality. So if Abraham Maslow, American psychologist, his hierarchy of needs, okay, and at the bottom is physiological, then safety, then belonging and love, esteem, cognitive, aesthetic, self actualization, transcendence. Okay, so right now in the news, okay, so again, use the news unless you believe everything is fabricated, like there wasn't really an earthquake. Like there isn't any guns or wars anywhere or whatever it is, that you want to justify moving further away from the truth about the human condition. It's just because reality matters. If you care about your kids as much as I do, and I've never met them, reality matters to leave a legacy of what they can work on and fix and problem solve, but to have the skill sets, even if they're given the solutions or, up to the mitigation ventures. So let's look at physiological needs. So, assuming a person can't go to the next level without finishing the first level of physiological needs. So, how many people are homeless? How many people are hungry? And how many people are this close to it and therefore must keep focusing on that as an issue? Physiological needs. And again, you've got your elites that you want to vote for. Don't vote for this person. Vote for this person that has access to 27 bedrooms, but that pretends they care about homeless people. Like you're very flawed as a species. So if you look at this hierarchy of needs, like even if somebody gets 2, 3 steps, I'm not even seeing anybody who knows what life skills are, even though they claim to and know how to teach it by role modeling them, because a life skills coach is trained to be able to role model them, describe them, evaluate for them. And of course, doing a good job would make people feel good. Wow, I've learned great people skills. But people that write books like, how sapient we are, say, oh, this is why we're at the top of a pyramid, this fictional pyramid where we are divine as a species, because these scientists suffer from human chauvinism, whether it's religion related or not. Speaking of religion, it is getting worse. And of course, I mean, we might as well say cults for most of them. There's a tribe versus tribe mentality with everything else, but also within them. So, don't expect that your progress lies with the supernatural. And people say just love. Well, again, you need life skills to be able to understand, how to express this love, to hear what somebody else's love language is. There's a lot of things that you're missing as skills. And, if you look at like self-actualization or transcendence, which is where with the Anthropocene, you are, lacking these needs being met by the majority of you. But the majority of you are not even really, and some of you have, let's say, housing and enough money for healthy food, but you don't buy healthy food. And you live unhealthy lifestyle that is really harming you physiologically. And that includes, by the way, people who, let's say they look like they're the best physical shape, and you don't know what kind of drugs they do or what kind of, let's say, driving behaviors they have, where they could be in a wheelchair the next day. There's a lot of nonsense about who you are as a species, individually, as individuals, your idols never get reevaluated. I mean, sometimes you'll hear something about somebody you admired or talked about, and then you won't say, well, I learned this thing about that person. So if I claim that person is good with intelligence, I must limit the definition of intelligence of that person in these ways. And again, that's who I'm aware of because I'm always on the internet and the algorithms keep popping me up this one. So I have no clue that this person is actually above average intelligence because I have to have a little bit of intelligence to evaluate for intelligence. So, and you don't know this. So again, when life skills have been misunderstood more and more over the years since I took training in such things, I can tell you that even if you succeeded at the task of caring about each other as so-called sapiens, that your physiological needs, so eating, heating or eating, water, housing, and without stress, that for a consistent amount of time, that you can now move on to the next level of this pyramid, is I tell you, you won't even be halfway up the pyramid when eventually you'll find, hey, we are okay, but we can't get to the next level because there's nobody to teach us these self-actualization skills or to role model them. So this is the truth about the human condition. No matter how much people want to say we've achieved great things as a species because we learned to collaborate with each other, which brought us to the top where we can now destroy everything and have nobody else to blame except we won't blame ourselves, is really a lot of the things you've done, such as pyramids, involved collaborations of slavery. So I wouldn't call that collaboration. So plus those pyramids were not meant to serve everybody. So people that say we did these great things, we went to the moon. Well, what were the motivations of going to the moon, by the way? So you can look at yourselves in the mirror. How did this benefit everyone? And how will future things benefit everyone? So again, as a species, you never really have collaborated with each other. You've never used language efficiently, and you've become more and more disconnected with the reality of the planet you live on, your interactions with it, and who you are as a species. So again, I see less and less collaborations. I see more and more divides of tribes up to the individual as an individual tribe, and therefore boosting the egocentrism to steroid levels. And then there's also the fact that you don't challenge each other's fake images because you're afraid they'll do the same to you. You guys are just a mess. I mean, if Abraham Maslow was alive today, guess what? As one of you, because he would be likely, he would also say, oh, we just need to follow this pyramid, but he's got a nice office, his needs are being met, and blah, blah, blah. And therefore missing the sentience. Like if he's not a scientist that we need during the Anthropocene and will go petition something and get arrested, then he's not really real, right? He's a fake, right? Even the best of you that say what you all agree with, they're not doing it. They're not understanding the Anthropocene, and they need to go petition out there every day. And if you say, well, I'm busy with my job, well, chances are your job is accelerating the Anthropocene. But even if it is not, why not take your kids in a safe way, in a nonviolent way, and talk about how to defend their own future and generation, which is at the root of the definition of sustainability, right, by the way. So this is who you are as a species. I hope that you are able to understand what I'm saying and look at yourselves in the mirror. And again, I'm the bad guy. I have recommendations and I have skill sets that I could, teach them to you to counteract some of these things. But again, the norm wins. And in the future, when I'm dead, again, I'm bringing you back to the basics of things that you claim to already excel at, when probably these things, like collaboration, can be observed in other species in ways that they wouldn't take the whole planet with them if they failed once in a while. You are the only species that failed in these basic things of collaboration, which is one of the biggest concepts at the root of the evolution of higher forms of life on this planet. And therefore, again, you are anti-life. So get rid of your supernatural religious paradigms. Get rid of your money thing, because when somebody that is rich with 27 bedroom donates $1 million to a project about housing, and it's mostly going to be to create jobs of people that want to believe that they've saved the soul of somebody else. But by the time that building is bought and everybody's salary got paid and everybody got their cut, as much of it as possible to themselves, you are now faced with a building that that you can't afford to help people to get into. So again, the monetary paradigm is nonsense unless you have millionaires and billionaires that say, hey, for me not to be a hypocrite, for me to be congruent, for me to deserve all these followers and live with myself, supposedly with a conscience, is I must redistribute everything to the commons. And that means, all the millionaires and billionaires, you don't need to go live under a bridge. You can just buy a super nice motorhome and that would be enough. But distributing everything else, oh my God, that would solve a lot of problems. So how come the millionaires, billionaires are not smart enough and you think they're brilliant because they have money to do this? And sometimes they're wearing a cross. So when they go and they might, get it, don't believe in this stuff, but if they might go to heaven or hell, will it be because they role model how to live a lifestyle as if there's 10 planets available for everybody? Or would they get to heaven because, not at the last minute, but as soon as possible, they would share and say, this is wrong. Having that much more than others means that we have slavery today in ways that is just modern. Except we are sold a fake dream, like the American dream, that if you succeed, you actually will create more people. And that's a great dream, isn't it? If that's what it is, that's the way people define the American dream. But if you actually get ahead, if you actually believe this dream where you should try to get ahead, and a few of you will just keep crashing the system. You will live a life where you create more of the divide and the toxicity to the planet and more resources, more resources, more resource. Eventually, there's just one tree in a museum somewhere and it's not even alive. So guys, come on, stop wanting more when you are faced with issues during the Anthropocene. This is the same as all of your proto-civilization crashes of the past. Is the elites who have too much, not having a conscience, whether they're religious or not, whether they think they're smart or not, whether they think they're a good person or not, and they don't distribute, and eventually the system crashes. Now, you can't succeed at this. It would take miracles that will not happen for the elites to make that right choice. The only thing most people can do before the planet does it for you is minimize reproduction. Think about future generations of kids and grandkids already born and have less kids. Talk about this. Go get arrested if you're a scientist that you want me to respect. Get arrested is the new good guy. Okay, just do it in a way where you won't spend the rest of your life in jail.